is going to be payments made easy. So how streamlining guest transactions at your property are going to be so seamless when you're using Staylist. So today's topics are obviously why it matters. Next, we're going to talk about auto pay. The third, RFID and charge the site, guest portal, and lastly, our new launch of ACH. So obviously we know that when talking about payments, right, this is something that every operator touches, and in turn, every guest touches. So payments are a part of the guest journey, but they're not just transactions. So today we're going to be talking about how you can turn, payments and transactions into actual guest experience and how to make their journey better, from the flow from the beginning to the end of being on your property. So here at Staylist, we like to treat payments, or we used to treat payments as a final step, right? But we've actually streamlined this and realized that it can be transformed into guest experience in a way to boost revenue. So old methods slow you down, right? They slow you down, they slow your staff down, they can irritate and frustrate guests. So here we have multiple different ways to be able to provide for you and to provide for your guests easily transitions when they're booking online and when they're on property as well. So digital first, right? That's where the world is. That's where the world's going. So faster check in and out, more upsells and happier guests. And that's what these payment processing systems would do for you. So first, we're going to talk about auto pay. So it's predictable and effortless. And so how many times, you're at home, right? And you have an electrical bill. And then that's something that it just gets drafted out of your account every month and you don't have to think about it. Well, that's something that Staylist does for you as well, right? So on your subscriptions, you can set your guest up for auto pay. And so it auto charges them if they want to pay monthly or weekly, however you kind of set it up, right? So it eliminates late payments and collection headaches. I had, some parks that talked to me about having lines out the door, right? And their monthly stays or their long-term stays come in and they have to wait in line behind people who are checking in or people who are making future reservations and booking just to be able to pay for their reservation, right? They shouldn't have to do that. And with autopay, they don't have to. So you as a park owner, operator, manager, you guys don't have to feel like you're debt collectors anymore, right? It's just going to do it for you. So guests set it, they forget it, and then that's nothing that you have to worry about anymore. So it's ideal for seasonal stays and long terms. And the best part about it is that it gives guests the peace of mind and it's predictable revenue and income that you know that you're going to be getting each month. So it's a good way to gauge where your finances are, right? Where your bottom line sits. Maybe you're trying to prepare and figure out, where all of your money is going to be this time next year. Maybe you're trying to redo your rates and trying to see, what kind of revenue that you have coming in. These are things that AutoPay are going to be able to help tell you. So it streamlines your process, and it really turns billing into background noise, right? So it gives you the opportunity to have the revenue, run itself. It's a clean process for, not having to chase balances, less friction when it comes to staff, and less headache for you. So AutoPay is a great way for you guys to be able to, track and obviously have your guests have a better time on vacation, or if that's where they're living, then a better time living in a short-term stay at your park. Next is RFID wristbands and charge a site. This is one of my favorite topics to talk about because what a better way to add more ancillary revenue to your bottom line, to your revenue streams, right? And it's a good way for guests to just spend as they're going through your park. Wristbands are a good way to have and use as amenity passes, or activity passes, or maybe it's a day pass that somebody, can purchase and use on site as well. So it shows that you have registered guests. So on top of that aspect of having, a safety and a safeguard around who you have coming in on property, they can also be used as a wallet. And through Staylist, it literally is a seamless transition within your POS that you don't even have to worry about it. And then second is your charge to site. So if you don't use wristbands and you just want guests to be able to, go into your store, or maybe you have an activity that they have to pay for, right? They can use the charge to site and their wristband to be able to use that and not have to bring cash, not have to carry a wallet, because through Staylist, it's all going to read that and identify that for you. And then it's going to be able a better way for them to just charge. Now, I have a daughter, right? So if I'm on vacation, I'm laying out by the pool. Well, let's just say she's a little older than 7. So let's give her like 14, right? Where she can ride her bicycle around the park by herself. Well, I don't want to give her 20 bucks and it fall out of her pocket, right? I don't want to give her a credit card and then all of a sudden I lose my card and we are, up Shit's Creek for the rest of the time, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to give her the money on her wristband or tell her what site number we are on for her to be able to take that and pay as she goes, right? She's going to be able to take the time to charge what she wants, right? With a limit. You can either set a limit or free for all. But we have a 14-year-old on our hands, so we're not going to give her that, right? So maybe she gets $20 a day. Maybe she gets $40 for the whole stay. These are all ways that you can control it as a parent, as a guardian, or if you have a group of friends, right, that you can manage your own time and your money that way. So it's less friction for the guests, right? It's a better guest experience, and it really allows them, the opportunity to spend more through your park. So it's going to save you so much time when it comes to training on the POS because look at the bottom right here, you see where it says charge card on file. You can do reservation or you can do wristband. So if they don't want to have, a giant balance at the end of their reservation and they just want to use the card that's sitting on file, guess what? You can do that too. So there's really 3 ways that you can use it throughout the POS. That's going to be an easy transition between your guest, your staff, and it's going to be easy time, right? So the reporting and the spending, these are all things that you can see real time as guests that go throughout your park. And you can actually see a 25 to 30% increase on food and beverage just because they are charging to site. You've been to a hotel, right? Sitting at a bar and you say, hey, can you put that on room 107? It's the same thing here. Staylist gives you the opportunity to be able to have that seamless transition through the link to the POS, to their reservation, and it's free flowing from there. So now I'm going to pass it to Chase, and Chase is going to show you how we use both the auto pay, the wristbands, and the charge to site through Staylist.
Thank you very much. I'll start sharing my screen. Alrighty. So starting out with the subscription auto pay, I'm going to go to availability and pull up this particular reservation here. We can see it checked in June 11th and checking out on March 31, 2026. But right over here where it says subscriptions, looks like he's being charged $1,000 on the 11th of every month. And all we have to do is go right here where it says auto charge, choose a card on file, click on that magical button, and now on the dates that we see, he will be charged for his purchases. So that is auto charge. You can also turn it off at any time as well. Now bouncing over to the point of sale side. Right here, when you click on guest order, this is where you could go ahead and already scan a wristband or choose an on-site reservation. Or let's go ahead and add a 6-pound bag of ice, and how about some firewood? Now, when we go over here to pay now, of course, we can take a credit card, cash, check, but right here, we can choose a list of reservations or scan that wristband and charge their card on file. But let's go ahead and charge it to this guest here. Process payment. We can see what he got, remove any that we want. But when we open up the reservation, you can actually go into point of sale and see all of his different orders and the subscription that it is attached to. So that is the point of sale with site charges and wristbands, and I will pass it back to you guys.
Awesome. Thank you, Chase. And now I think we are going to do a poll.
That is correct. I was about to jump in here.
Perfect.
Yeah. Launch this.
Would you consider letting guests charge purchases back to their site? Yes, we already do. Yes, but we need the right system, or no, not right now. So this is where we hope that a light bulb goes off, right? For operators, that it's like it's instant, it's clean, it drives upsells without slowing the process or slowing down your team. So if there are any questions, at the end, we will be able to answer these for you when it comes to, additional ways to be able to use this, whether it's charge the site or even the use of wristbands.
All right. And it looks like everyone is doing this, but some people are looking for the right system on how to do it. But most of everyone is using our system exactly how it's supposed to, easy and to the point. So those people who kind of need help finding that right system, feel free to drop your names in the chat. We can set up a one-to-one to help set it up, or even further demo how to make that work for you guys.
Exactly. Yes, perfect. Next is going to be the guest portal. So last time on the webinar, we talked a little bit about Night Booster, right? And how whenever that guest receives that text message and they say, yes, I want to book, it's going to send, a booking link right to their phone, and they're going to be able to use that seamlessly without having to call back into the front office. So it's going to be, that's what we're talking about, right? So it's not just about Night Booster. It's about whenever they make a reservation and they're not sure if they want to go ahead and pay that full amount. Maybe you give them 24 hours, maybe you give them 48 hours. It's going to give them an email and say, hey, do you want to pay? Then they can log onto their guest portal and make that payment. Maybe they made a future booking and you only, allowed a deposit, and then you need to go and pay that before arrival. This is what it's going to do for you. It's going to allow guests to pay the balances and deposits. It's mobile friendly and easy to use. And this is just another way to make your guests seamless, and have that, experience that they want whenever they go to your park. They know that your park is current. They know that it's up to date. They know that everything is available to them at their fingertips, right? These are all ways that we, push our brand and push our property to be better and continue to move with the times, right? It cuts down on front desk workload. I mean, if you have a reservation, how many times do you want them calling back in to say, oh, I want to add another $100 onto this booking? Or, oh, I need to, pay this deposit. You're not going to be able to, you're not going to allow yourself to have any missed revenue, or missing payments, and the delays aren't going to be there. Whenever they come, in, the payments are done, right? And they can see everything within their guest portal of what they're paying. And maybe they look and they're like, you know what? I want to have an add-on. Maybe I didn't add a golf cart. So then they call in, and then that's just another way for them to review back to their reservation and think of things that they might not have thought that they wanted to begin with, right? Oh, I didn't know that I paid for this, so on and so forth. So this is just a really good way on the guest portal for them to be able to have it at their fingertips. They have it in full control, right? It really allows them to log in anytime, pay those deposits, and be in control of their reservation from the start to the finish. And it really gives them the empowerment, right, as our guests to be able to continue to do that on property. Anytime, anywhere, get those balances paid. So without further ado, Staylist is so excited to announce the new processing of ACH payments. So in case you don't know what that is, it's just bank drafts that is connected right through the bank. So it's not through a credit card processing, right? So you as an operator, this is going to save you thousands with those big high dollar payment transactions that, that they're not going to pay credit card processing for, right? So through AHA, you have that lower processing that allows these big groups to make these bulk payments, or maybe these big reservations, to be able to pay these out instead of, drafting it, completely out of their credit card, or right out of their debit account, right? So it's secure, it's compliant. There's going to be it's a seamless transition from start to finish whenever you're making those reservations over the phone, and fewer chargebacks, right? So we talk about that all the time. And I know that so many people, so many properties reach out to me and they're like, why do I keep losing, these disputes? Well, first you need to make sure you have proper documentation, right? Make sure your guests are saying what they need to, because those are always going to fight back whenever you guys get disputes. But if it's through an ACH, they have to provide all this information for you. It's not somebody stealing your credit card or claiming fraud, right? So there's no way that they're going to say, oh, I didn't make this payment when they provided the routing number and they provided that account number to you. So you, as a park operator or owner or manager, you're going to be able to feel safe and secure and to avoid all of these confusions or chargebacks that you might, come into play with. And so now I'm going to pass it over to Vlad, who is our CTO, and he is going to show you how it's going to look within Staylist and how seamless and easy it is for you as a park owner, operator, or manager to be able to use this on your property.
Thank you, Courtney. So ACH is a brand new feature that we are deploying next week. So look out for it. You will have to enable it within your settings. Once we enable it for you as a payment method, it'll pop up on the payment option right here. It'll come up as an ACH right there. We're currently in the process of testing this, but the concept is basically you'll be able to select ACH, select the ACH on file. If you don't have one on file, you'll be able to click add, and then it'll jump you to the payment section for that customer. So for example, this reservation has Vlad ASDF. You can click on that customer, go to payment methods, which got changed from credit cards to payment methods. And a new ACH section was added here. Add the routing number and account number, add, and you're good to go. Once that's added, you'll be able to jump over to make a payment and then select that same ACH. Well, I guess you can't see it from there. Select that same ACH card, the ACH account that was added, and then process payment. With ACH, it's similar to credit cards. It's either instant or it might take a few minutes. Within the transaction section, it might say processing for a little bit. Actually, we can actually show you guys here real fast. Process. There you go. You'll see a little notice here. This reservation has pending ACH transaction. Please check transactions for tab. And you can see this is processing. Eventually, this will clear out and it'll say zero balance due and everything's good to go. So that's ACH.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Vlad. We will go back to my screen here. And so obviously there's going to be benefits for all, right? You're going to have operator benefits and you're going to have guest benefits. So within the charge to site and the wristbands, you're going to see a higher ancillary revenue increase, right? Like I said, 25 to 30% more spend within your park when using a charge to site type revenue stream and processing stream on property, right? Faster check in and out. We know that is going to be more seamless when using auto pay. So you can really use a streamlined way of having people who are already on property and really focusing your hospitality and your skill set to the people who are coming in as your transient and, nightly stays. Clear reporting and reconciliation, right? We know that having these real-time payment processing, being able to see the money that's coming in, being able to gauge where we're at, where our bottom line is, maybe even trying to find rates or, relooking at our money streams within the POS. These are all ways that you're going to be able to see this in real time. And then reduce fraud and chargebacks. As an operator, those are all things that we're going to be able to really streamline our business and really gain that money that we need by the end of the year. And the guest benefits, right? We've talked about these 100 times. Seamless transactions, the vacation wallet, right? If you're not using this as a revenue stream, please start doing this today. I promise you, your guests are going to love it. Your staff is going to love it. They are going to have multiple ways to pay, right? It's safer than cash. And these are just ways that you guys are really going to be able to elevate your park and your property to be able to say that I am the newest and the best, and that I am really, keeping on the trend of how the rest of the properties are doing as well, because higher guest satisfaction equals repeat stays. We know that retention is one of the best ways for us to make money because we want those people coming back over and time again so that they can have that relationship, those memories on our property. And what a better way to be able to give them all their payment processing streams in the palm of their hand. So, marketing and revenue impacts, we talk about these every week because at the end of the day, we want our brand to be the best and we want our bottom line to be the best. So, automation cuts processing time by 70%. That's a crazy amount, right? Like I was saying before, you know that whenever you have, a bill coming in, you don't even look twice at it because you know that it's automatically going to be drafted out, right? These are what the automations can do for you as a property owner. And then cashless transactions, you see a 200% increase. A 200% increase just because they have it within the palm of their hand and they are able to really produce that and show a difference when it comes to your cash inflow through your POS or even just through your automations. So flexible payment options, right, equal more guest spend. And then you have a modern and professional brand. We talked about that as well. Just making sure that you guys know that your brand, is making itself known, that you are the newest and improved. You have all of the high tech stuff that other properties have, and you're really staying up to date because you're going to show a stronger bottom line by the end of it. So closing and Q&A. So recap real quick: auto pay, predictable revenue, RFID and charge to site, boost upsells, your guest portal, anytime, anywhere payments, and ultimately ACH lowers cost for big payments. So together they are simplified operations and you make happier guests. So now we will open the floor for some Q&A in case you guys have any questions about any of the different processing streams that we have here at Staylist. It says, oh, somebody answered that in the chat. Let's see. Is ACH kept on file for our seasonals, or do they need that anytime? So once you put in the ACH, then it'll be the same thing as a drop down when it comes to your credit card. So it will be an option that stays on there as well.
And Sean has his hand up if we would like to.
Yeah, on the ACH, when Vlad was doing that, it showed pending, and my curiosity is, if you let the guest leave, how long does that stay in pending?
It's going to be less than a minute. That it showed pending for me because I'm using a dev environment staging sort of a scenario, but everything that I've seen is nearly instant.
Okay, because I mean that would be my concern, is if the guest leaves and it fails, you're kind of left without a payment.
So typically, if you're going to use ACH, that's usually a process where they're like larger, and you could just use a credit card at that point if they're just going to pay and go. So usually it's prepaid in advance, but the little bit that's left over, that's a really good question. I don't see it as an issue in practice, but I can see that it being an issue if they drum up a large bill, for example,
Right.
and then you use the ACH on file and they might not have accounts. Let me check on the exact time frame so that you can be aware of that.
Okay.
This is Sean's wife. I could actually see a couple of my seasonals that I know personally. They would literally, once they know that ACH is on file and can save credit card fees, she would literally come over, buy milk, maybe a couple snacks, and it would be like $6 or $7, and she'd put it on ACH for sure. But if, I guess you can discourage that and tell them they can't do that unless it's for larger purchases. I don't know, but
yeah, because I've seen some take 2 days, because ACH is inherently slower.
Right.
Hence the the processing fees less. But I would reserve ACH for the larger transactions.
Okay. What is the post date on ACH? Will it post that day at end of day, or will it take a lag time of showing up in your daily summary?
It's the same. That'll be on daily summary. It'll be instant. It'll show up right there as a transaction, and as well as in your trial balance, it'll show instantly as well. Reconciliation with Stripe or Payrix or whichever gateway, that will be based on your T1 or T2, whatever that time frame is, set up and configure, which is what you would typically see. So I think next day, up to 2 days potentially.
Right.
Worst case scenario.
Yeah, I don't know that I would let my transients use ACH, but I can see it being a big benefit for my seasonals because they are the only ones that are allowed to write a check to us. So I could see them using that quite often. Let me ask you this: once it's enabled, is it does that automatically put it out as a payment for online users as well?
No, online users is always credit card.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure once we enabled it, that wouldn't show up as a payment option for them.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was one of the questions anyway, the if ACH details were online, so the answer would be no for that. There's another question, are fees associated with ACH transactions? There will be a processing fee for that. And so if that is something that you are interested in, then we can chat about that separately, based off, your account.
Yeah, it's a little bit less than credit card. I don't know the exact amount, but I think
Correct.
it's
Yeah.
yeah.
Any additional questions?
You can also attach an ACH to a subscription as well, and then you can do auto pay through ACH as well. So if you do have those monthly recurring stays, they can get drafted from ACH monthly as well.
Which is what would be ideal for the ACH payment usage.
Sean has his hand up again.
Yeah, sorry. That brought the when you said there's a fee associated with ACH, can that be passed along just like the credit card fee, or is that something that we have to eat ourselves?
I believe it works the same as the credit card fee. It's passed along as well.
Okay.
I think those were all of the Q&A questions that were asked. And I know that they are being answered as well in the chat, but all the questions that were in there were addressed through the webinar as well. Fantastic.
I was like, anyone else have any additional questions?
One thing to add, I messaged Kyle back, is we will not be like on the online booking flow, you will not be able to put in ACH, but in the guest portal or paying invoices, guests will be able to pay ACH at that end. So.
Thank you. Alrighty. Well, thank you guys so much. And we will send you out a recap of this in case there's anything that you missed or that you'd like to go back and listen to. And as always, if there's any additional questions that you have, feel free to email me and we can set up a one-on-one to discuss this further.
Awesome. Thank everybody for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you all.